Jez, 1984. How about a French? Plays one of the offbeat lines against the French. Yeah, the double knight. I've learned the hard way that playing c5, which to a French player seems like a natural move, is bad in this position because of the pressure on the center. So what to do instead? I think you can develop this knight and attack. Well, it defends the center, and if he pushes, then you can retreat here and build up the usual pressure against the center that you get in the French. And yeah, he moves the knight. It's because the knight was blocking the c-pawn, which he needs to defend here. So this is okay. I take, he takes. I could bring the queen out first. Does that help? He's got it pretty well defended, but it does keep the pressure on. I think I will not develop the queen yet and just develop the bishop and get castled. I have to figure out what to do with my light squared bishop, as usual with the French. Okay, I don't want his knight coming into this square. Let's get castled. Okay, he's set up for a Greek gift sacrifice, so I will just avoid it this way. So I was thinking I could push this pawn. My knight is not under threat. Maybe develop my bishop and put my rook on the c-file. Develop my bishop to b7, put the rook on the c-file. Aha. Yeah, so he tries to close me down here. So now, if I play f5, this pawn is not under threat. He takes en passant. I will take with my knight. If I could play f6 instead of f5. I could play f6, but it leaves this hole here. He could put the bishop there right away. But then I could take the pawn. I think f6 is okay here. Need to kind of tear down the center to get these pieces to come to life. I don't know. I suppose it might be possible to try liberating the bishop over here, but that would give up a pawn, I guess. Yeah, he's got pressure on this pawn from both the knight and the bishop, so not so easy for me to play a5 in this position. Yeah, if he doesn't take, if he takes, I will take back with the knight. That's a good square for the knight. If he doesn't take, I will take, and I will try and build up pressure on e5. And now this knight is not in a position to defend e5 anymore, so I think probably he should take. He did. And yeah, he's targeting this guy. If I just push immediately, he can take. If I put my bishop here and he puts his knight here, I take, he takes, I take. And he's got some discovered attack on my bishop. Let's see, he has a loose knight here. Let's see if we can make that knight uncomfortable. Oh, I noticed. Okay, what to do then? I'll start with defending the pawn. If he puts the knight there, I will take it. You step back with the bishop. I'm preparing to just push that pawn. Although it leaves my d-pawn weak, doesn't it? Okay, and he's preparing to mate me. Let's see. So if I put my knight here and the queen takes, I mean, not the queen takes. I put my knight here, knight takes, pawn takes, queen takes. The queen is in the sight of this bishop. This check over here is not, is it a mate? I don't think it's a mate, but it might be uncomfortable. Yeah, let's bring my queen over. I mean, let's put the brick over behind the pawn and push it forward. So I've got 3 pieces on the e5 square after I push the pawn. So the idea is that even after he trades, there won't be a loose piece there, so he can't do some kind of discovered attack. Aha, he stepped aside that way. Okay. And he let off the pressure here. That was the other danger in this situation, was the pressure on this pawn. He let that off. So he's got to react, because otherwise there's this threat of the pawn coming forward. And now I have this pawn well covered. I have a protected bishop here. So I'm okay with this. And knight here is now definitely something I could play, because the bishop is behind the pawn supporting this. And you know, it's targeting f2, looking kind of interesting. This knight was threatening to come in here, and moving my knight helps prevent that. He can chase my knight away, yes. Now where to? Should I just go back where I was, or should I keep this open here? Is there something I can attack? I could take his knight first. I guess I could just go back. I don't want the queen coming in here. So he can plunk his knight on this square. I can't prevent that at this point. I can push my pawn forward, and I did open up this diagonal. Actually, I can't push the pawn forward, right? I push the pawn forward, he can just take it because he's got knight, bishop, and queen on it. So, never mind. Let's see, there's not as much pressure on... Oh no, he's still got the knight on it. Yeah, if I trade, he'll take back with the bishop, and then he'll have the threat of taking my knight and then delivering a check here. It's not as fatal as it was, but it's still looking a little annoying. Okay, put his queen there. I think just get rid of the queen. Or is there something better? Here's his idea. I put my queen here. He takes, I take back, and he brings his bishop in and skewers my two rooks. I could take with the king. I wonder, so I take the knight. I take the knight, he takes back, and then I lift my rook up here. He takes my knight, I take with the rook, this rook, maybe. Then he delivers a check and I walk out. Alright, then maybe that's a way to change things. Oh. Forgot that his rook was there. So he's just going to win on time, huh? Is that his plan? Can't go there with the queen. I don't know. I need to make a meaningless move, so he moves. He's got to move somehow. Yeah, maybe he just puts the bishop here. If he checks me first, I'd move up with the king. Then I can take the bishop. So he has to put the bishop there first, and he's threatening mate. And I'll just have to take it. Yeah. And let's push the pawn. So I liberated my bishop finally. Let's go here. Gotta just move quickly, I think. I think that's the only thing I need to do is move quickly. And yeah, he ran out of time. What to do? I don't know. I mean, I can't move the bishop here. Let's see, we can request the computer analysis. If I move the bishop here, I assume he can take. Yeah, I can't do much about it. So yeah, white is just winning. So what should I have played here? Looks like right here. Oh, I should have gone here directly. Ah, that's the way. And then he can't put the check there. But it looks like he was doing better here. What did he have as a good move? Ah, bring his bishop in here, attacking my queen. It's a good move. Interesting. Yeah, French can be a tricky defense, and he was playing well. But, well, time is part of the game, too. Okay, let's play another one. We will get a rapid game this time. Okay, how about a Nimzo Indian? Haven't played one of those in a while. Or not a Nimzo Indian. Okay, well at least he's not playing the London system. This is a Kala system. believe I can play this here. If he takes, I can check. Ooh, so he's playing a Tarrasch. He got me into a Tarrasch by a weird move order. So I can go for the isolated queen's pawn position by taking here and giving him the isolated queen's pawn. But I think actually that's pretty good for white, so I will go with this. So this is a position from the semi-Tarrasch, I guess, by transposition. Okay, he's setting up for the Greek gift sacrifice again. I had that theme in the last game too, but he doesn't have a pawn here to chase my knight away, so not an immediate threat. Okay, let's kick that bishop. Oh, he wants to create some kind of ram structure here. That's okay. This is pretty even. So a decent result for black. Can develop my knight here and attack his pawn. Just have to make sure I can find an active role for my light squared bishop here. Maybe I should immediately bring the bishop out. Where is he going? He might just drop back to avoid the trade. Let's start by putting pressure on the pawn, though. That's something he has to decide how to defend. Oh, he gave me the bishop pair. That's interesting. I was going to say, where is his bishop that defends that pawn? It's not on the board. It is gone. Okay, so he brings his queen out to defend. Now, that is his good bishop. This bishop is not hemmed in by the central pawn structure. And this is my bad bishop because it's defended. It's blocked by my d-pawn. But it's not all bad. How about if I go b5 here? Just try and win that pawn. Could also have considered bishop here. Yeah, I think I will play bishop here now because I can't play b5 right away. I could play b5. The queen moves. I mean, he's not going to have time to take here because I'll take his queen. If I play b5, he might play bishop takes and exposing this pin on my, my rook in the corner is undefended. Okay, so I have to play here first. Now I'm threatening b5 or some discovery with the knight. Knight here might be good. Queen moves, can't actually move to a square that defends the bishop. Of course, my bishop is not defended. So knight here, queen takes bishop, knight takes bishop. What is that like? I am hitting his rook and a pawn, but he's got a queen here in a pretty active spot. Okay, so now I can move my knight, attack his bishop. I could get the bishop pair versus the queen. Let's see. I could take the pawn with my knight and let him take my pawn. And I could take this knight with check. He takes back. Then I have to do something about my bishops here. Oh, actually, this is starting to look good. Let's think about this. Knight takes pawn. His idea is to take this pawn, I guess. If he takes my knight first, the queen comes here and defends the pawn. So if he wants to win the pawn, he has to take with the queen. So knight takes pawn, queen takes pawn, knight takes knight, check. I assume knight takes knight. And then I have bishop to c6. That was what I spotted. Bishop here hitting his queen and putting pressure on the knight. And then where his queen runs away, and this knight is gone. It's been traded off, so I can do some damage to this pawn structure around his king. I kind of like that. Let's see if it works. I'm losing this. I'm leaving this pawn loose too. He could grab there. But yeah, his idea was to take that central pawn. Ah, he can take here with the queen. Yeah, I can't move my bishop to c6 first because his queen will take my knight. I have to play this first. Yeah, I was just assuming he was going to play knight takes knight. But he can play queen takes knight. Oh, he goes along with my plan. Thank you. Much appreciated. Yeah, the queen has one square it can go to defend that knight, which is over here. But he gives up the exchange instead, which is a horrible mistake. Do you guys see the mistake here? Well, he can't take the pawn. That's the mistake. He noticed that he can't take the pawn. Okay. So he threatens mate. He still can't take my pawn, but I do need to defend against the mate. Yeah, so the trick was queen takes here, bishop takes here, check. And the queen is just loose on this square. Yeah, we can pile up pieces behind this pawn. This pawn is loose too. I could just push this pawn. Or I could, no, that's not so good. I realized a rook here would be a bit annoying because it would pin my bishop against my queen, and my queen is loose too. So I just decided to defend, and I didn't want to leave this one undefended, although maybe it's not a big deal. I don't know. I don't know. I wanted to play bishop here. Just grab this pawn and trade this pawn for this pawn, but his rook here hits my queen, defended by his queen. It's a bit annoying. So that's why I put the rook there. Okay. He is attacking on the light squares. This is all according to best practice here. If you've got a light squared bishop, attack on the light squares. I'm just unpinning this pawn, so this is more secure. The pawn on g6. He's attacking my bishop. Yeah, so now I can do this. No, I can't. Where can I put you, bishop? Here? Well, I don't have to move it right away. Okay, let's go here. And need to clear some lines for my pieces. He still can't take this pawn. And now I can put my bishop over here maybe. I need to attack on these dark squares too. While he attacks on the light squares, I attack on the dark squares. I should be better because I have the more force with the bishop versus rook versus a knight. But knights are tricky, and my pawns are a bit weak. And I don't have a piece to oppose that that light squared bishop unless I sacrifice the exchange back. Give a rook back for that piece, which maybe I should do at some point. This keeps his knight tied down because my queen and my bishop are coordinating there. Okay, so he's looking to win my bishop. But if he takes here, I'll take here with check, and then I'll take the bishop. So I'm not yet, there is as yet no threat to win material here that I see. I want to trade off one pair of rooks, so I have a rook and he won't. I will try and use my rook to best advantage. Gave up this pawn. Well, I had to give up something, it looks like. He didn't take it. Okay, so where I want to go is here. Maybe here with the support of the pawn. Yeah, it's a little tricky. This knight actually is doing a good job of guarding the entrance squares here and here. Ah, he gave me a home for my bishop. I like that. So let's maneuver my rook around a bit. Ah, I've just spotted an idea here. So there is a queen check here and a bishop check here. And then this knight will be a bit loose. Let's see, there's also rook here to the back rank now. Yeah, he doesn't have any way to check me at the moment. And let's see, if I check here and he blocks with the pawn, then I check here with the rook. King goes here, then the queen can come here. No. The bishop guards that square and the knight guards that square. How about the other order? I check with the rook first. King runs out. Then I check with the bishop. It's looking good. I have time. Let's think about this a little bit. Bishop check first. Pawn up. Rook check. King goes to the side. And then he's covered all these squares, so there's no follow-up. So I think chasing the king out is best. My queen and my bishop are coordinating on this square, so he can't block with the knight. He's got to run forward. Yeah, it's getting tricky. I think if the king comes to a light square, I'll push a pawn forward so he comes to a dark square, and then I'll bring my queen back. That's what I was saying. So we can't go here or here. I check with the pawn. Can't go here, but you can come to here or here. And in both cases I have queen here with check. Let's see. He could put his king here. That would be mate if his king was there. So his king has to go here. Pawn here, king here, queen here. Then he puts his knight there to block the check. And I've got queen here. Knight there, queen here. He's got pawn up. Getting close to a mate. Pawn up, and then bishop somewhere. How about the other pawn? Is it any better if it is opening my king position up, isn't it? This pawn first. But it keeps the king from blocking. So if it's a mate and every move is with check, it doesn't matter if my king position opens up. So we check here first. And he can only go to this square. It's not a mate, but it loses the knight anyway. Well, maybe it's a mate. He resigned. Yeah, I think it is a mate. Go to the analysis board here. So can't move here or here, or here. So he has to go here, and then the queen would go here with check. Now the king has no moves, can't go here, here, or here. And so the only way to block it is with the knight. Yeah, and then I can just take with the queen. And that is mate. For some reason I was seeing some line where I took with a pawn and the king runs around here. But even taking with the pawn would be mate, actually. Taking with the pawn. I mean, he can't come forward and he can't go backwards. Either way is mate. Okay, well, that was a nice game. Let's see. He ran at a, yeah, well, the usual number of blunders and mistakes, but well, not too bad. Okay, see you guys next time. Bye.